because the producer didn't realise that Paisley was in Scotland. So I got my Scottish scar. But it was a much more subtle Scottish scar.
A nice touch. So, I want to start bringing, partly because I'm losing my voice, but I want to start bringing in questions from the audience, ladies and gentlemen. We've got our roving mic supporters, right? Okay, lady in the front.
Well, okay, so roving mic, should I go down and roll with the mic?
You don't have to, you're on.
Any more light? Put up some more light. Let's see. What do you want? What do you want to ask?
Over the years, different doctors regenerated for different reasons. And most of them were for saving their companions or worlds or being forced to. You, on the other hand, didn't get that opportunity. If you could choose a reason for why you had to regenerate, what would it be?
But I regenerated into that ugly little man from Liverpool. What's his name? Paul McGann.
Yeah, but you got shot in an alley in a horrible American movie. And it was like, compared to all the other doctors, there wasn't that real shining. And I guess you more died for the person who was your handler for that one episode. So if you could have chosen a different way, like...
Well, I would have chosen not to go. That's my different way. Anyone else? Yes. Over here. Oh, when I finished up doing Doctor Who, well, what happened was I became just a bit more famous, and I used to do lots of theatre work, touring theatre plays, and so I got paid more for doing the same plays. They gave me more, an extra knock on my wages, so that was actually rather good.
Hello, Sylvester. First, I want to say it's great to meet a fellow Scot here, and I know the TARDIS that you're talking about. So my question is, what would you think of a possible season of Doctor Who where he meets another Time Lord who wants to build a machine to give him more regeneration so he can live longer, but that Time Lord actually turns out to be the Master, and the reason he gave him his regenerations was that so he could live for the rest of his life knowing that he failed the world?
Could you write that down and send it in, please? And we can to a big finish that we're recording. It's very complicated. I don't know how to answer that one.
I have a question. What's the funniest thing happened on set?
The funniest thing happened on set. Well, actually, what it was we were filming, we were filming in the deserts of Dorset. You don't know, England has no deserts, but there's this huge sand pit in the south of England, and twice I filmed there. Once was The Great Show in the Galaxy, and the other one was Survival. And both times it was over 100 degrees, which is nothing to you. But I know that, 100 degrees Fahrenheit. It was really hot, and it was like making a spaghetti western. Now this was like lots of cat people in it. There were cat people all dressed up, and there was a young lady, because we were outdoors, because we were in Britain, we were not used to sunshine, there was no shade. And these poor girls were left out without any shade, and they freaked out, and one of them couldn't stand it. So she stripped off her costume, and she was last seen running over a sand dune. When she forgot she was only wearing a thong. To me, it was one of the memorable moments, and rather funny as well, from Doctor Who. I really like that one. Excuse me. I could go to Comic Con dressed as any character. Who would I come as? I don't know really. Billy Connolly. Oh, I love it. I really love it. Oh, goodbye. Goodbye. Oh, I don't know really. Are you going to ask me a question? Oh, that's a nice question. Superman. I'd like to come as Superman. When I was little, I used to have a red dressing gown, and I thought I was Superman. Because my real name is Percy James Patrick Kent Ivan Smith. But actually, when as a child, I was called Kent. So I always just thought I was Kent, Clark Kent. And you must be Kent, aren't you? Have you got a question?
Who's your favourite villain in Doctor Who?
My favourite question. Yes. Well, my favourite villain is, I suppose, the Daleks, really. Next time. Because when I was the Doctor, I felt that I wasn't really the true Doctor until I battled with the Daleks. Move your feet. Go on. That's all right there.
In The Hobbit, how long did it take for you to finish your fitness?
Actually, it was only an hour and a half when I was doing The Hobbit, because if you imagine I had a wig, so a wig's easy, you just stick it on, and then you stick around it, and then the beard, and then the poo. The poo took longer. You get these little birds in and they go, and then they shit all down my face. Anyway, they kind of, no, actually, it was just made by, Weta made some poo, and then they put some other, and they did a bit porridge on it, and it dried. But it only took an hour and a half. I was very lucky because the dwarfs guys, they were in sometimes for 4 hours, and they'd go in and they'd be all made up, they'd put on the costumes and all the panning and everything, and then they wouldn't film for days, just hanging around on their beards. One of the loveliest things about that though was that I was in Germany recently at a Hobbit convention, and it's lovely, this is populated this stuff. I was at this Hobbit convention, and the majority of attendees were young Fräuleins. It was 85% of the attendees were all women, and they all came dressed as their favourite Hobbit characters. And they had, amazing costumes, like you've got some amazing costumes here. And but they had beards and everything, and they were all into hugging. And I said, they kept saying German Fräulein, oh, no, Radagast, I want to hug you, I want to hug you. And I never knew I'd enjoy being hugged by bearded ladies. I really did like it. Anyway, I'm coming around this way.
As the Seventh Doctor, people talk about the Seventh Doctor is always known as a mysterious and dark character. How do you feel about playing a character who started out as happy and excitable and even empathetic to his enemies, to someone who was helping him defeating his enemies?
Well, yes, the thing is, when I started out, I was happy, and then I got my first paycheck, and that made me really miserable, because I was working for the BBC, so I decided to become miserable. No, what happened was that when I got the job, because of my ignorance, I hadn't seen it for years, I didn't know anything about it. I just kind of got the lines, tried to learn them, and I thought, well, my normal instinct is for comedy. I usually, that's what I normally go for. So I kind of made them light-hearted. I had a cane, an umbrella, slightly Chaplin-esque, mustard eaten, that kind of world, visual. But then, as I got to know it, I realized that I had been given, blessed, with one of the great TV roles, because you can do anything with it, you can go anywhere with it. And that was my ambition as suddenly became. I wanted to do that, I wanted to explore all the facets of this amazing character who could be, manipulative, he could be gay. I also wanted to bring back the mystery, the who in Doctor Who. Because originally when he first came, no one knew quite who he was. After 20 odd years in Doctor Who, there was too much was known about him, I thought. So that's why I tried to create this mysterious, and at the same time, my granny, I had a granny who lived to be 100 years and 3 months. And I remember she was really sharp, even at 100. But there was a part of her that was, she'd seen terrible things, lost some of her own children, all that kind of stuff. There was a sadness. And I thought, my daughter's 950 years old. So I wanted to bring that in as well. The longevity, the ancient mariner, the feeling he'd been around doing all that kind of stuff. And it would have effect, it would be weighty. And that's why I decided I wanted my doctor to be like the one he turned out to be, manipulative. And if we'd have done a 4th season, it would have been along those lines.
There's a myth floating around the internet that basically says that the plot for Ghostlight was so nonsensical and confusing that even the cast didn't know what was going on.
It's not a myth, it's actually true. No, we didn't. It's really strange. The reason is partly because the producer thought he could get away with doing 4 episodes. But the executive producers said you can't, so you have to reduce it. I think that's what it was. So if they had enough episodes, it would have made sense. But they had to edit it down. And in the editing it down, they lost some stuff. So, that's why it doesn't make quite sense, but yet at the same time it is mysterious, and there's some great writing from the Doctor and for Ace. I mean, I think that some of the character stuff that they were given to do, keep your hands up, because I don't know where you are, put them down. Then, you know, so anyway, that's what I think that's how it's used, not a myth, it's a fact.
Speaking of this, we're still talking about
Oh yes, no, I see Sophie Aldrin quite regularly, and I also see Bonnie and Mel. We're still great friends. And you become a family, really. Even the doctors, I mean Paul and Peter and Colin and Tom. You have a great kind of, it's like, brothers really in a way. You kind of love them. You also hate them at the same time. I'm better than you, I'll be the hardest than you, all that kind of stuff.
When you were in the 5-ish Doctors reboot, and you were the other Doctors as well, were there any points where you felt like you actually wanted to be in the 50th anniversary special?
Sorry. Finish. Okay. No, yes, well, what happened was, we all wanted to be in the 50th. That's why we made the 5-ish Doctors. The reason why we wanted to be in the 50th anniversary was all of us have been travelling around the world, meeting Doctor Who fans all over the world for 2 or 3 years before the 50th, and they always ask the same thing: are you going to be in the 50th anniversary? Please be in the 50th anniversary. We knew that the fans wanted us to be in the 50th, but the producers didn't listen. And it was only at the beginning of that year we suddenly realised, I don't think we're going to be in it. So Peter said, let's make this film. He was like a whole movie he was going to make it. But then gradually, because we got Stephen Moffat, suddenly realised that he'd made a boo-boo not having us in it. So he supported us making this spoof film trying to break into Doctor Who. And then the BBC gave some help to it. We didn't get paid for it. We did it for the fans. We literally, honestly, all of us, Paul, myself, Colin and Peter, did it for the fans because we knew we wanted it.